Hello and welcome to week 2 of AC1160 Advanced Accounting Fundamentals. Remember that my contact information is down here with the name, the email address, and the phone number. We also have audit office hours on Monday at 6 p.m. and these are not required, but if you wanted to go to the office hours, that is a good place to ask questions on them. It is a different number. It's a conference call number so that any of the accounting classes that I'm instructing can call in at that time. We can ask questions on the same line at that time. We also have the URL down here if we so choose to do a screen share, and I can work through problems and or look at some questions that other folks have in that format through the screen share format. It is an awfully effective way to look at things. So if you are not able to attend the Monday or ask questions on Monday at these office hours, then you could set up a different time where we could meet by phone, which would be more this number, and or use the screen share, which would be the similar screen share usage here. And keep that in mind. You also have Amanda Edwards available to you. So if you have any questions, you can call Amanda Edwards or email Amanda Edwards and see if you can set up some other times as well if we do not have a time that could basically work, or if you just wanted some other outside help and or tutoring. Also recommend highly that you go to your campus and see if there's tutoring available to there as well. And there's other, of course, types of software that you can use to talk to each other, including Skype or some other kind of screen share software. That one's called Join Me as well. So if you wanted to work with other students using a similar screen share software so you can see each other's screens, it's not so important to me really to see the individual when you're working through problems, but it is really nice to see what someone is looking at in terms of what does the Excel sheet look at, what does the Connect look like. So if you can share those things, you can really walk through a lot of problems and help each other out in a lot of ways. You also have the website here. So if you click on this website, if any links or anything are not working, or if you wanted to look at the prior class, Accounting 1110, and see some videos there, or look at future classes, or the videos in this class, then you could go to the link here. And so I'm currently working on uploading the information into here. So you are currently in the Advanced Accounting Fundamentals, so if you go here, and these will be just links to the types of assignments. So Chapter 6 is going to be here, and if you click that, it should link down to the Chapter 6. And so if you're having problems with the links and getting into the videos, a lot of them are going to be housed more and more on this site. At least that's my current thing. So I'm going to go back to the trail up here. The gradebook is over here on the left-hand side, so I'm going to go into the gradebook. You want to check the gradebook at least once a week. So remember that this will be the official gradebook. The grades, a lot of your work will be done in Connect. So the way you want to approach this is that you want to use Moodle Rooms as kind of your check-off figure to make sure that you have done everything. Then you want to do the work. A lot of it will be done in Connect, of course. And then at the end of each week, at the end of Sunday, you should be done. I'll get the grades in there by Tuesday following that Sunday, and then you want to go into the gradebook and just double check that everything that you have been checking off as you go has been updated in the gradebook in a way that looks correct to you. So if it does not, then of course let me know. So that means that everything in week 1 should have something in it. For example, if it's something like an assignment, if you did it, the grade will then pop up here. If you did not do it, a 0 will pop up there indicating that it is past due and either graded and or has not been completed by those entries respectively. So make sure to go back and pick up anything that has a 0 in it that you can. You can pick up late work on just about everything except pretty much the quizzes. You'll lose points for the late work, but it's better than getting a 0 on the late work. So that means that if you run into a time constraint, you want to make sure to take the quiz because you don't want to get a 0 on the quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz. Therefore, any points are better than 0. You want to do as well as you can. But even if you got like a 10 or 20%, much better than a 0 on them. If you need to make up the quiz, then you'd have to ask me on a case-by-case basis, meaning you'd have to email me, and I would either approve an extension and or not. Whereas the assignments are going to be open later for late work, where you can lose points on them, but they will generally be open. So keep that in mind as we go. I'm going to go back up to the cookie trail up top, go back to the face of the class, move down to our current week, which will be week 2, November 23rd through the 29th. And if we scroll down here, we have our objectives, just like we always have. The topics we will always have, the lessons we will always have, and then we've got our videos. So if you wanted to take a look at some instructional videos on these, you can take a look at those. Again, a lot of these are going to be housed on that website, so if you have any problems with the links, you should be able to find most of these videos on the website directly. So if that's an easier way to work this, then just look for chapters 8 and 9 on the website. And then I'm going to scroll down. This is what you need to do. Remember, everything from the discussions down, this is basically your checkbox to say, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do this? So even though much of the work will be in Connect, you really want to check everything off in Moodle Rooms after you have done it, so that you make sure you do not miss anything. For example, the discussion forum, of course, is not in Connect. It's in Moodle Rooms. So make sure to pick up the discussion forums. You want to get full credit on the discussion forums. This is my criteria, or this is the way I would think of these classes. Discussion forums are worth 21%. You want to get full credit on those 21% by making sure that you do the minimum or more than the minimum posts. Then you want to pick up as much of the assignments and homework as possible. Don't get zeros on them, because you have enough resources to at least pick up some points, if not full credit on those points. And then go into the quizzes with as much a cushion as possible, because you have at least control over those. So you should get 100% of these. You should get very close to full credit on these as much as possible, or at least you should not get a zero on those given the resources there. And then go into the quiz as prepared as possible, knowing that if you do not do as well as possible, you picked up a lot of points in other areas and should hopefully be able to pull out any bad or lower scores that in those areas. How do you pick up full credit on the discussions? You need a minimum of 4 posts. Most students are going to need more than 4 posts. Remember that 4 posts is the minimum. The grading's a little bit different in that the posts accumulate upwards. So you more posts can only add to the total until you hit the cap, in which case you'll get full credit, and more posts won't really help you any at that time. But the goal would be to do more than 4 and make sure you pick up the 21%, rather than trying to stay on the line. There's no cost to posting more. Just remember that a post that needs to add credit, though, needs to add to the conversation. So you need to say something really basically new in order to add to the conversation, and it has to be something relevant to the conversation rather than encouragement is good. So someone else to say someone has a good post, that's good. Doesn't really add content, however. So adding content meaning another question. Why is something good? What type of things are adding to the discussion on that? I will add a lot of discussion. Obviously, you do not have to answer every question I post. The objective of my posting questions is to have more than enough information for all students to post a lot so that they can get full credit on the 21%. The assignments are going to be in Connect. So once again, note that they are in Moodle Room. So once you do them in Connect, you want to go in here and say, if you like these little check boxes, you can say, okay, I did those. Those are done for the week. Even though you complete them in Connect, I would go back to here and say that you have checked them off. Everything in Connect should be indicated here on the face of the Moodle shell. This is where you want to go to check them off. Of course, the assignments in Connect will be in week 2, and the assignments will be the longer type of assignments. And those are these ones that look like the notepad. You might want to actually do these second, because you might want to walk through the chapters with the LearnSmart, or at least walk through chapter 8, because these 2 assignments, well, this one will be on chapter 8 and this one is on chapter 9. So you might want to look at these first and then do these assignments. Remember that the paper clips will not be turned in, but they're generally going to give you either videos and or worksheets, which gives you a lot of the format of the answer. So even though these assignments are very large and intimidating, you should get a pretty large amount of the formatting of the worksheet, which counts for a lot of points through the examples in the paper clips. So you do not turn in the paper clips, you use the paper clips to work these problems, and in so doing, you should not get a 0 on these. So just don't see that they're very long and then not do them. Make sure to pick up as many points as possible. These are really the longer problems because in some ways they can be easier in that they give you more of a big picture of what's going on. So take a look at those. Going back to the Moodle, once you do that, you check this off, you go down to the homework, and again, you might want to do the homework first, the LearnSmarts, but remember that we're going to check them off here. These are going to be the LearnSmarts. Once you do them, you check them off and say, okay, I've done it. And then what are the LearnSmarts? Well, they're in Connect. They are going to be these 2 assignments. So you want to go in here, do those assignments, make sure they are done, and then go back to the Moodle rooms and say, okay, I've done those. Only thing we need to do then is the quiz. And of course the quiz once again is in Connect. You want to do it in Connect, then go in here and check it off. And of course the quiz will be the final thing down here. Quiz is due by Sunday. Can't make up the quiz unless there's an unusual circumstance, in which case you want to email me. I will then take that on a case-by-case basis. Therefore, if there is no unusual circumstance, make sure to take the quiz by Sunday. Any grade is better than a 0 grade on the quiz. And the rest of the work can generally be made up and will be open at a later date, although you could lose points on late credit. All right, so that's it for week 2. Have a great week 2.